Hey there, and welcome to the Unleash Your Greatness Within podcast. I'm TJ Hoisington, and today I have a message for you about a power that you have, that if you employ it, if you utilize this power, this innate power that you have, you can turn your dreams into reality. You can turn the invisible into visible. I tell you what, you can make things happen with this innate power and ability.
My passion and my mission to help you unleash your greatness within. My heart goes out to the underdogs that's on their way. If you think you can go from good to great, okay, let's motivate. GreatnessWithin.com. TJ Hoisington. GreatnessWithin.com.
And you want to know what the ability is? I call it the gift of want. And I thought I would just share a story with you to illustrate the message that I'm trying to portray here. When my girl Kyla, my daughter Kyla, I have two daughters, Kyla and Julia. When Kyla was 8 years old, she came to me one day and said, "Dad, I want to buy the Disney game called Infinity." She's now 15 and a half, going on 16, but she came to me one day and says, "Dad, I really want to buy that game." She had been watching some commercials or whatever, and she thought, "I want to buy that game." I said, "Well, I'm not just going to buy it for you. It's not your birthday. It's not Christmas. I'm not just going to buy it for you." And I said, "But I do have an idea of a way you can earn the money to get that game." Now, what you need to understand is we live up in the Northwest, and one of the ways that we heat our home is with firewood. So every year we stock up on about 4 cords of wood, and then throughout the winter, right, we use our wood stove and we heat the house. We've loved that. Even though we have a heating system and so forth, we love the feeling of a wood stove. And if you know anybody that has a wood stove, or maybe you have one, it's beautiful. Now, it takes a lot of upkeep and work, that's for sure, but the toasty, comfortable feeling in the home is just awesome, especially in those cold months. Well, one of the things that I've always done is when I've had 4 cords of wood, and a cord of wood is 4 feet by 4 feet, 8 feet long of solid wood. I get 4 of those delivered to my house. And one thing I told my children early on, my 2 boys who are older, when they were young teenagers, I said, "Listen, I'm willing to pay someone else to come stack this for us. But listen, I'll pay you guys $100, so $50 each, if you will stack this." And they said, "Absolutely." So for years, the boys had stacked 4 cords of wood every year in our shed. Well, this particular year, my daughter Kyla is 8 years old. She wants to buy this Disney Infinity game. And I said, "Hey, the boys aren't available. If you want, they've already stacked 2 cords of wood, which means there's 2 cords left over. If you want, you can get on the John Deere tractor, assuming you weigh enough that you won't trigger the false alarm, which doesn't allow the tractor to move. And if you weigh enough at that time," right, was what I was thinking. I said, "If you stack the 2 cords of wood, I'll tell you what, I'll give you the $50, which is enough to get that Disney Infinity game." I tell you what, she got excited. She started to think about it at night. She planned for it. And then the day arrived, she was going to go out there and she was going to get on that John Deere and she was going to drive around. She was going to stack the wood and stack it in the shed, which is behind the bungalow. And I tell you what, that's exactly what she did. She had a little bit of help from Grandpa, who came into town and helped for a couple hours. But really, Kyla, at 8 years old, stacked 2 cords of wood. I was amazed. And when she was done, I tell you what, she got her $50 and she got the game. And guess what? After playing the game a couple hours, she didn't like it. She never used it after that. But you know, it taught her a lesson that if you want something, if you turn the creative subconscious mind onto that purpose, it will become like a servo mechanism that guides a missile. I tell you what, you turn that subconscious mind on something you're excited about, instead of asking for something, instead of expecting something for nothing, right? But if you're a parent, for example, if you will say, okay, next time you want that thing, here, let's creatively find a way for you to earn the money, learn something in the process, while also learning how to work hard, right? Let's do that. And then you can buy whatever you want with that money rather than give an allowance. And so all our parenting years, we've never given an allowance. What we have done is given them opportunities to make money, to be creative. My two sons started a window cleaning company, and they were cleaning windows at 14, 15, 16 years old, making thousands of dollars every month. I tell you what, it's possible. Kyla went on after that to do a cookie stand at a fair, it was at a soccer tournament, and she made a couple $100 each time she would do that. And then Kyla went on later on when she was 11 or 12. She said, Dad, I want to be an author like you. And I said the same thing that I said when she was 8 years old. Okay, if that's something you want to do, hey, we as parents will support you. But here's the deal. You have to do the work. And you know what? There's a lot of fulfillment in the gift of want. There's a lot of fulfillment when you get excited about something and then you use your creative subconscious mind to figure out a way to make it a reality. I tell you what, there's a special satisfaction in that. Well, she came to me and said, Dad, I want to be an author. And I said, okay, you want to be an author? Then you take this journal. I gave her a leather-bound journal. I said, you start writing the story, which she did. And you know what? A couple years ago, she became an Amazon #1 author, right? A best-selling author on Amazon when that book came out, The Swiss Family Robinson's Secret Discovery.
What's up, guys? Tanner Fox here. My friend Kyla just gave me her first published book. She's 13 years old, which is ridiculous. She has her own book, but I've recently gotten into reading, and this thing is awesome. I cannot wait to finish it. So congratulations, Kyla. Much love.
We are signing books for our raffle and are so excited. We hope you enjoyed the book.
And I tell you what, that was a labor of love. Those nights for 2 months, she would sit up there and write the story, and she ended up with 28 chapters, and then she gave it to me to clean up and fix. And we worked on this story together, and you know what? It became a bestseller on Amazon. Now, why do I share that? It's not just about Kyla the person, although she's a special girl for sure, like all of my children. But I tell you what, one thing that I have taught my children, and maybe you might want to employ it in your own family if you're raising kids, or maybe you're a grandparent. I'm now a new grandparent with a 3-month-old, and life is good. But one principle that can be taught that is powerful, if you will employ the gift of want, meaning when you really, really want something and it's up to you to make it a reality, all of a sudden those creative juices start working, and the work oftentimes can become sweet. Okay? So here's all I'm trying to say is it doesn't matter the age, right? 8 years old, 11 years old, 14, 15 years old. The possibilities are endless if you will turn your children's mindset onto possibilities. It's all about if you think you can. That's what it's about. If you will believe in the possibilities, even when you can't see the fruition of them, that in time, if you'll continue to take action, you will get the result. Listen, I can't say this with any more gusto than what I've got. The gift of want is the power. When an organization, a group of leaders, a group of frontline workers, it doesn't matter, get behind a vision because they want things to be better. They desire it. It comes up from the grassroots maybe, right? And it's a team effort. When people get excited about it, things happen. Now, I love this. Stephen Covey talked about this some time ago. And it has to do with pilot Chuck Yeager. So I'm just going to read it, but it's a great reminder. Pilot Chuck Yeager launched an era of supersonic flight on October 14th, 1947, when he cracked the sound barrier and its invisible brick wall. Some prominent scientists had hard data that the barrier could not be penetrated. Others direly predicted that both the pilot and the plane would disintegrate at Mach 1. Or, it said, that the pilot would lose his voice, revert in age, or be severely buffeted. In his own biography, this is what Chuck Yeager wrote, and I think it is powerful. And it's all about belief systems. It's all about shifting our paradigms to believe in big possibilities. In his autobiography, he writes, quote, "The faster I got, the smoother the ride. Suddenly, the Mach needle began to fluctuate. It went up to 0.65 Mach, and then it tipped right off the scale. I thought I was seeing things. We were flying supersonic, and it was as smooth as a baby's bottom. Grandma could be sitting up there sipping lemonade." Isn't that a great visual right there? I was thunderstruck after all the anxiety, after all the anticipation. Breaking the sound barrier was really a letdown. The sonic barrier, the unknown, was simply a poke through jello. Smooth. A perfectly paved speedway, he said. Later, I realized that the mission had to end in a letdown because the real barrier wasn't in the sky, but was in our knowledge and experience of supersonic flight. I tell you what, if you can get your mindset to break away from your current reality and believe in something bigger and get excited about it, right? Then your subconscious mind gets creative, and the purpose of the subconscious mind is to make you act like you, which means once it accepts something as a truth and reality, it starts to find all the evidence in your world to make it a reality. Did you know that it wasn't until the 1980 Olympics that women, females, were not allowed to run a distance longer than 800 meters until the 1980 Olympics? Why? Because there was a belief system, there was a paradigm that was a false paradigm that said women were not structurally built in such a way that could handle the pounding of long distance running. Well, let me tell you something. Think about the people you know who, the females that you've read about and heard stories about that have run marathons and ultra marathons and how they've done it successfully and healthy. I tell you what, it's no difference for you. If you have a belief system or if you have something that keeps stopping you, if you keep saying, that's not possible for me, or you tend to find excuses why you're not going after those goals that you have that are deep within, then there's probably some fear involved. And fear usually comes from a belief that what I'm about to do might turn out poorly. Well, understand this. Before there is ever a master, there was first an apprentice. You have to learn to be okay with failing and making mistakes. Here's the key. My friend James Reed, a CEO of a publicly traded company, always says, he says, fail fast. And that's what I'm saying. Fail fast and make it right. Fail fast and adjust and make it right. Most people get into this fear mindset because of comfort zone. And it's true. Anytime you get outside your comfort zone, you get anxiety, tension, feedback. That is natural. But like what Mark Twain said, if you do the thing you fear will dissipate. So here's my suggestion for you. Rather than force yourself to do something out of your comfort zone, rather than force yourself to face your fears, hey, do this. Spend more time dreaming about the outcome that you ultimately want to have. And eventually, guess what will happen? That will be accepted as truth and reality. That is the gift of want. When you get excited about a goal, that it starts to consume your thinking, your ideas, your breathing, your eating, or whatever. It starts to consume you. All of a sudden, the difficulties start to melt away and you start noticing the evidence that can help you achieve that goal. Now, we are going through times right now that are like times we've never seen before. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your goals. This is a time, I said several months ago at the start of COVID, this is a time to pivot. You've got to think for yourself. You can't just follow the news all the time. And I don't know what you're listening to. You've got to do your own research. You have to understand what's going on out there and make wise decisions for yourself, for your health, for your family. But what goals do you have? What goals have you given up on? How many times have I given speaking engagements over the years, and people come up to me afterwards and say, oh, TJ, Mr. Hoisington, that was really inspirational. But you know, I'm 55 years old now. I'm 60 years old. I don't know what to do. Listen, age is not a prerequisite for success. What is a goal that you can work on? What is something you can do? Because as you go to work on it and as you exhaust yourself on that goal, it will create satisfaction. I tell you what, have you ever seen the Latin root words for satisfaction? It starts with satis and ends with action. Do you know what satis means? Satis means enough. So here's what it means. Enough action will bring on satisfaction. Listen, you don't find happiness in life by sitting in the bleachers. Well, some people do, and they support other people, and they find happiness in doing that. But really, if you're not the one on the field growing, if you're not stretching according to your own values and your own goals and so forth, then you are, like Henry David Thoreau said, you're dying inside, if you will. The key is getting on the field, whether it be tiptoeing on the field, whether it means leaping onto the field, it doesn't matter. The point is to get started and believe that you have greatness within. You have something special within to make a difference in other people's lives. And as you make a difference in other people's lives, you'll make a difference in your life. And you know what? If you'll work on you through servicing others, you will also find your own life. Let me tell you something. Spend more time focusing on what's possible. Garner the gift of want, and a whole new world will open up to you that before that moment you will have not even thought you could do, or that world didn't even exist. I'm telling you, it exists. But you got to peel through the layers of distraction. You got to peel through the layers of naysayers and dream killers that stop you from reaching out, like the whole crab thing. One crab, there's 5 crabs in a bucket. One crab tries to get out, and the other 4 are trying to pull it down. And so crabs won't ever get out of a bucket. I tell you what, that's the world we live in. You want to adopt the mindset of, hey, if I want it, I'll go develop myself in such a way that I can make that a reality. And I'm not going to give up until. And guess what happens once you start getting on that momentum and that abundance thinking? It's exactly what Chuck Yeager did. He said the highway was paved with Jell-O. It was as smooth as a baby's bottom. It was smooth. So whatever fears you today, face it, stand up to it, and pursue towards your goal despite the fear. And eventually you will find that it is as smooth as a baby's bottom. I tell you what, that is momentum when it comes to success. You have the potential to be successful, but you got to start talking like it. You got to start thinking like it. You got to start believing like it. You got to start filling your mind with information and content that gives you additional evidence that what your goals are possible. And eventually it'll drop down into the subconscious mind as a truth and reality. And then 24 hours a day without you even thinking about it, boom, you'll start to notice opportunities. Boom, 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 boom. Opportunities that will make that goal a reality. I know that to be true because of the thousands of people that I've worked with, the leaders that I do private coaching with on a weekly basis, but most importantly, through my own life of having to go after, or not having to, choosing to go after a dream, a goal, only to fail and fall down, but only to get back up and persevere again. And you know what? I've achieved those goals. So I know from others' experience, I know from teaching it, but really at the core, I know from doing it. You have the greatness within. If you like this video, hey, do me a favor. Would you subscribe? Would you give me a thumbs up? I'd really appreciate it. All right. Thanks for being a part of my community. If you're not yet, hey, join my community. My whole goal and mission in life is to help people like yourself unleash your greatness within. And I spend my life giving tools to help people and organizations do just that. All right. I wish you the best. Now go unleash your greatness within.